Well, you can track the passage of time by the amount of snow melting off the ridges over there. I've been trying to remember to show more stuff on the outside because stuff always is changing out here as well. We put a wooden frame around the blower to try and quiet it down a little bit. It helped a little. It's not quite as loud. I can actually hear somebody talk if they're standing over here, but it's still freaking loud. We're at the 1,000-foot mark right there. The outside is that direction, and I don't think I've shown you what's up here yet, so we're gonna work on that. There's a bunch of old communications and electrical cable in here. I was just pulling out because it was getting all tangled up in the work car in the track. This black plastic line right there is a brand new one that's put in to power the pneumatic equipment. Still a lot of water in here. You can see how much quartz is mixed in now. We're getting closer toward the vein, or I should say one of the veins. The timbers starting up again here. So this is kind of interesting. You can see where there was a spur running off to the left there. You see the rail going back there. And yet, if you look at it now, you're not going back there anytime soon. I mean, you can hardly even tell there's a drift there. That is just, it looks almost solid. But according to the map, there was something running back there. It'll be a while before we got that open. And then, of course, you see the attic keeps running that way. We're starting on mucking this out to try and drain it, and we will eventually. Back there is a raise that connects all 3 levels of this mine back that way. I'll show you that later. I just want to show you the main one right now, but remember this one because this one is significant. We just fixed this morning. All that stuff, all that muck right there was strewn across the rail here. So we put that lagging in and then pitched all the muck and the rock back behind it. So now it's a lot easier to get the ore car through here. Not fighting with it anymore. Same thing here on this corner. There's a bunch of debris that have fallen across the rail. This one actually runs back a way, as you can see, and then up. But that's some nasty serpentine. You can see how it's all slabbing down. See that vein of quartz right there? This is an older airline. We didn't put this one in. This airline, I'm assuming, is from the crew in the 1990s. See, it was coming down this side, and then they bridged it over. So now it's running down the other side. I don't know why they did that, but they did. You see the old electrical insulators, obviously from the crews in the 1930s or 20s. I'm going to turn my Myers light off because I think it's actually distracting. So carrying on with the miner's light off. That light is so focused that whatever it hits, it just whites everything out on whatever it's hitting. Speaking of whiting things out, look at this quartz right here. It's a pretty thick vein. That blob of it right there. I don't know how far back that might run, but somebody took a sample there. And if you look, you can see the whiteness keep running back. So presumably that is a vein rather than just a blob. But there's more up here, that's for sure. It's a little junction here. We just put all that stuff up today because that's sketchy back there. That just intersects the adit we're on again, right back there. But you can see a bunch of stuff is dribbling down there, and it's just an area to toss bits of metal and things like that from the prior cruise. Bending around. Like I said, we just put all this caution tape up this morning. You see that's looking back where we just were, right there. Little side drift right here. See, they tossed a bunch of waste rock back there. This is where we finally picked up some, they call these bacon strips. Those are rock bolts right there and there. And these strips of steel are called bacon strips by the miners. And you can see they put the chain link fence as well. It's interesting because we're really deep in the mine now. This is the first time that we've seen those. These timbers here are quite old, and they're actually pretty sketchy because the end of the log rots first, and they only jam those in a couple inches. And there's just a ton of stuff above us. It seems like it could come down at any time, so that'll be a priority to get that taken care of. See all the quartz above me there and through here. Looking ahead. Here now you're starting to see the vein. This is all quartz through here. You see the old timers knew about it too, because they cleared a lot out over my head. In fact, if you look up through there, there's a real tall stope here. Really chase it up and find it. Yeah, see, now we're starting to get a better view of it, but it goes even higher than that. I don't know how much I would trust these timbers, but yeah, if you look, this is hard filming this because there's all this timber supports in the way, but that runs way up there. And of course, quartz vein runs this way as well. Despite all the wood back here, the air is surprisingly good. You see how the rails almost disappear into the silt here. We're gonna have to dig that out because it's almost impossible to push the ore car through this. Now we're getting to old school timbers. These are from the original cruise 100 years ago or so. This is their work. And I gotta say it's actually held up pretty well. Another junction here. There's a drift. running off this way. You can see some of the more modern stuff from the 1990s. Tossed back here. I think we're going to make this a drill station. Back that way. You can see how things are slabbing down right here. This is sketchy, obviously, hence the rock bolts and the chain link fence. Over on this side, they had a workshop set up. That's just a bunch of wood that we need to clear out. But decent little chamber here, and actually gives you a decent view of the quartz vein again. See, I've got some cribbing right there, helping support that. The sheet metal is somewhat protecting this from having a bunch of water drip down on it, but not a lot. That tank, that big tank under there. There's a little dynamite box right there. This stuff is from the crew in the 1990s. Mixed in with some older stuff as well. This stuff looks a lot older. This drift, I forgot to mention, that's the end right there. Doesn't go any farther than that. That's just some wood tossed back there and a more modern extension ladder. Again, from the crew in the 1990s. Oh, there's a good view of a rock bolt. That's the top of it right there. You can see it driven in there. Here's a look at the timber supports from the other side. This runs way up as well. I'll try and get a view of it for you, but it's not easy. That's where you're just looking. There's a better spot over here, I think. Yeah, this is it. See the side of the old ore chute right there. Sorry, my breath has generated so much steam. It's hard to. There you go. That's a good view. That is the side of the ore chute right there. That just keeps running up, but you can see the quartz is up there, right there, for example. And it carries over as well. So they took out a fair amount there. I was looking up to that double-decker timber support because it took all that quartz over our heads out. See the fault right here? See how flat and smooth that is. And then this is as far as we've gotten for obvious reasons. 1660, 1,660 feet in. We've got this. Look at all the quartz back here. Look at all that delicious quartz. Old rusty saw back here. See, they were even using rail for spiling. It's pretty bad. These are huge chunks. These aren't something that we can just toss in the ore car and haul out. Those are gonna have to be broken up. Now I actually squeezed, nobody else has been back here. I actually squeezed along the side here and looked back there, and I'd have to shove some timbers and other things out of the way, which I didn't really want to do, but I could see it did keep going. The adit is open after this, but there's a lot of ground fall in it. The ground along the vein here seems fairly weak. So it keeps going essentially straight from what I could see. I could probably see another 60 feet ahead or so. And aside from the ground fall, which didn't look huge, it didn't look like it would be a big problem like this to clear out. It is open and keeps going, so it'll be very interesting to see what is beyond this, because we still have another 1,000 feet or so to get past this. So curious about that. Looking forward to that. If you'll recall, in another segment, I talked about how the raise was back here. Well, I'm going to go back there and show you the raise real quickly. This is the main haulage adit behind me here. That's the way to the portal. And this is the way deeper in the mine. But I have not shown you how things look back here yet. So we're going to go take care of that right now. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the last video, but we're gonna have to muck all this stuff out to drain this and make it easier to access this. I don't feel any airflow back here now, but our goal is to clear out the top adit and get this raise cleared out so we can have ventilation and also an emergency escape. Little pocket right there. Finally come out of the water over there. I think I can feel rail beneath my feet in the mud, but I'm not sure. There's so much mud in here that I guess it's come down the raise that it's hard to tell. You can hear it slopping through it. A few guys have been back here, but not many, since we broke through to this section. That's just a little side drift with some metal scraps and such tossed back there. Nothing of huge significance. Very drippy and very drippy through here, and very dark rock through here. See how dark that rock is? Okay, now we're coming up to it. This is all muck that's been dragged out from the raise, not by us, but by probably the crew in the 1990s. I say they cut a little trench through there as well, help drain things. The raise is just back there. I'll show you in a minute. I want to show you the end of this first. And I also really want to show you this. This is a wooden skip car that they were sending up and down the raise, probably with tools in it. But how cool is this? See the trucks on it? And little wheels. It's almost cute, isn't it? And then back here, you see some blast sheets. I'm going to just show you what's back here. It's nothing too terribly exciting. I'm going to show you that raise. A little bit of quartz back here. If they were falling out a little bit, maybe just get an assay off of it. I guess it didn't assay out too well because they didn't chase it. And then you've got a couple old dynamite boxes back here and there, and then that's the face right there. I'm back at that cool wooden skip car. I'm going to show you the raise, which is behind me here. That's the way we came in, so you can orient yourself. Some more quartz right here. All along there. And then this is the raise. You can see all the infrastructure has rotted and come sliding down here at the bottom. There's a look up. Kind of hard to tell, but it keeps going up, and I don't feel any airflow, but it doesn't look collapsed or anything like that. So I think it's the top adit that's blocked. Eventually this will all have to get cleared out. And then this drift just ends back there. This is all quartz here though, along this raise. And the top right there as well, the back, as the miners call it. That's all quartz. Must have been decent for them to follow it up as far as they did, to connect all 3 levels. That's where we are now. I'll start shooting again when we've broken into some new areas or done something interesting or doing something interesting, and try and keep you guys updated. I want to show you this. This bottle here is full of water, and we think a miner in the past stabbed that piece of wood in there to use as a cork. This was his drinking water for the day. He took it in and just corked it with a splinter of wood he found somewhere. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's like been there 100 years. Maybe they had lunch in this little side drift right here. Who knows? Pretty cool though, huh? I'm in that workshop right now, and to refresh your memory, that big collapse is back that way, and the portal is back there where that ore car is. And we've been working on clearing out the wood in here to actually restore this area's original role as a workshop, and we'll put a drill station back there. We're clearing the wood out from back there as well. However, that's not why I turned the camera on. I turned the camera on because of this. Do you see that water spurting out right there? I just cleared some wood from here 10 minutes ago, and that was not there at all. This just started within the past few minutes of that water spurting out like that. Now there's a fissure here, and water's been dribbling out of there the whole time, you know, ever since we pushed back here. So, and you can tell it's been doing it for at least years, given how things are eating away there. But this just started. You see how the water is still filling up the ladder? I just put that ladder there when I moved the wood out, and it hasn't even finished filling up the ladder yet. So that just started happening. That's so weird. I've never seen it before. And if you watch it for a second, it kind of goes in spurts. Of course, it's not going to do it now that I said that, but yeah, okay, I just did it a second there. Isn't that crazy? Just started out of nowhere. Another day in the mine. What are we up to today, you might ask? Well, that's the portal back that way. This is that drift that has the rays coming up off it. Back that way. And so today, our project is to muck out all this material is built up here. We're a couple ore cars in already. Here's the one we just filled. We're about to haul that out. Sweaty work. It's nice and cool underground. It's hot outside, but this is still sweaty work. We're gonna bust that big rock up right there next. That's like 3 feet across, a couple feet high, and it extends back that way as well. It's not one we can just lift out. And we're just chipping away at this pile. This is all from the last crew here that blasted this section out, and all the muck dropped down here, and for some reason they never cleared it out. They just left it. So that's what we're working on now. The right side there, that's the original rib of the adit, and then where I'm standing actually is, well, I'm inside what was the old rib. The old rib, you sort of look at the curvature of the side right there, would have run sort of, actually where that pipe is right there roughly. This is all new space that's been cleared out, and the debris from that is what we're working on clearing out now. And once this is cleared out, we can drain that, and supposedly there's rail back there underneath all the mud. So once that's drained out and this is cleared out, we can start scraping that mud off and get that passage back to the raise opened up. clear out all the debris at the bottom of the maze and start working up from there. All right, we're barring down some rock here in this section we're working in. Pretty good chunk of quartz, actually. There we go. That's pretty chunky. Stand next to that real quickly, will you, so people can see how big that is? Yeah, those are big enough you wouldn't want them falling down on us. Reveal any gold?
Oh yeah, a whole vein of high grade, about 4 inches thick.
Perfect. Solid gold, huh?
Solid gold.
Perfect.